Okay, it's time to talk about episode 2, where shit gets real. Okay, so in this episode, they officially start on their quest, and we have our A-team and Fillory, who I call the Fillory Monarchs, being Eliot, Margo, and Eliot's family. The B-team being Quentin, Julia, and the Tomato Guy, and the C-team being the Outcast, being Penny, Katie, and Alice, and they're all on their separate task, but it's all a part of the same quest, basically. Like, everybody wants to save magic, and as a result save Fillory, or save Fillory, and as a result save magic, but really, that's all everybody wants. And so, in this episode, we start off with Q. He's reading from the book. The book is the book with no author, and it has filled the first chapter, but the first chapter only. They're only gonna get their information chapter by chapter. So it's like they have to finish the first chapter before they can move on to the second chapter. And then the first chapter, it gives the backstory, saying that it was what was he called? A knight. He was a knight who was super ungrateful. He only wanted a son, but he only had a daughter, not multiple daughters. He only had a daughter, so he only tried one. So he, for somebody who really wanted a son, he didn't try that hard. Sorry. So, for someone who only wants sons and is ungrateful about the awesome daughter he has in front of him, he gets kidnapped. And they don't explain how he got kidnapped, but let's be honest, it was probably super easy. And he gets kidnapped by a witch, and his daughter has to save him, but the witch is like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And so she was like, okay, well, we can work something out, compromise. And the witch is like, fine, if you find me these 7 keys, I'll give them back. And that's essentially the same exact quest that our crew has to go on, that our magicians have to go on, is the quest that this daughter went on however many years ago. And so the first key is on an island, and that's all they know. That's what Quentin knows, and they tell Eliot, and so, Eliot is in Fillory, so he can actually do something about it, but Quentin is not, and Julia is not, and the Tomato Guy is not, and the rest of the C team is not. And so, the B team, they want to get to Fillory, and so that's their whole mission this episode. But the A-team, really though, Margo, why is she not our lead character for this series? Why do we have to focus on Q? Why is he our Harry Potter of the series? Why is it not Margo? Or even Eliot, I could understand, because he's attached to Margo, who is awesome. So, let me get out my notebook. I got all my notes. Let's see what the A-team did this episode. Okay, so A-team, their main objective, get the key. Get the key. To get the key, they have to get a ship. To get a ship, they have to get money. And once they get the ship and the money, they still have to return home safely. Because, shit is dangerous in Fillory. Anyways, so Eliot is like, okay, we can get the ship or whatever, but his delegates and the queen are not just gonna be like, oh, you're going on a magical quest? Okay, here's unlimited funds. The fairy queen, not Margo, or his wife, who are also queens. No, it's the fairy queen I'm talking about. And so he's like, well, we'll tell everybody that we're going to get taxes. We're going to get taxes from this island because they're technically a part of Fillory? No. They are they're in the realm of Fillory, but they're not a country. They're not a part of Fillory. And so anyways, so Eliot has to go. He has to go. Words. So Eliot, he is like, I'm going on this ship and I have to get taxes. And the fairy, what's her name? Does she have a name? I don't think she has a name. Why doesn't she have a name? Anyway, Fairy Queen is like, she she plants the seed with his wife Fen to be like, oh, I have to go. And so she plants that seed in her mind, and so Fen's like, I'm already going, like, you're not stopping me. And then she drops a bombshell, like, oh, it's already, like, no, you're not coming, you're just gonna slow me down. But then she drops this bombshell that she has their baby. Remember in the last episode when I thought the baby was back? Oh, she wasn't back. But now she is back as a full-grown teenager. Like, bro, that's not how babies work. She was 2 months old in the last episode, and now she's just a full-grown teenager. Okay. But anyways, they named her Frail Human, Fray for short, which is just so stupid. Which I guess is why the Fairy Queen doesn't have a name, because they can't name things properly in the fairy realm. And so the Fairy Queen is like, you're taking this child with me, because in the fairy realm, in the fairy realm, time works differently, and so for some reason, this human child has aged to about 15 to 17. They don't say exactly how old she is, or if they did, I missed it. But, like, you know, I guess fairies are immortal or something, whatever. Okay, so after the fairy gives back the daughter, she's like, oh, she might be your daughter, but she's my informant, first and foremost. And so Eliot, Fen, and Fray, they go out on this big adventure, and once they get to the island with the key, they realize that the priest who has the key has been using the key to manipulate all the rest of the villagers with the shadow bat. And he tries to kill one of them in front of them to show, like, oh, we need this key. But then Fen and Fray are both like, that shadow bat did not kill this villager. And so Eliot is able to confront him and get the key, move on with their next quest, and leave the priest to fend for himself with the villagers. And then when they get back on the boat, Fray is like, you guys didn't get taxes like you said you would. And Fray says you didn't get taxes. Fen is like, don't worry about what we did or didn't do. We're your parents, so shut up, you know. Keys are, like, it's made out of gold and it has magic, so that's valuable enough, so that's enough taxes. And Eliot is like, if you don't, shut up and go to your room. And so that's how the whole A team story wraps up. And then the B team, they have to find Margo to get the batteries to power the clock that can get them to Fillory to help find the key. Right? And so to find Margo, they use the internet, and the tomato guy, he finds a video of this guy who has been transformed into a bear, and it has like the little, what's it called? He has some type of emblem. And so they're like, oh, well, that's obviously Margo. And so then Julia's like, well, how do we find out where this bar is? And so then they enlist the help of Katie. And Katie is like, why would I help you guys? I low-key hate you all. and so Katie is like, I'm not helping you. And Julia's like, you're helping us if you want to save Penny, because the only way to save Penny is through magic, and the only way to get magic is to get the batteries, and the only way to batteries is Margo. And so Katie uses her head connections, and they figure out what happened-ish. And so they know he was there with a girl, but he was meeting another girl, and one of them turned him into a bear, but they don't know which one, and so they assume that the girl he was with was Emily, who reveals that they got married, and Emily's like, I have no clue what happened, blah blah blah, there's this other lady there, you know, that's probably who you're looking for. And so they have no clue who this other lady is or where she could be, but then throughout the city there's all these magical outbreaks. There's like a little sex party that happens in the park, and some kids, they get visited by a dinosaur monster man. And so they're like, okay, follow the breadcrumbs, you know, somebody saw her. Everybody says they saw a woman just wandering around. And when they find her, they figure out it was Professor Lipspin from Breakbills. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so angry? Like, we know magic is gone, but you know, we got these batteries, we can fix it. And she's like, motherfuckers, I created this battery. You can't fix it. there is no saving magic, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill myself because there's no point. Like, I spread a little bit of joy with this next party and the dinosaurs and whatever else she did, but now there's no more magic because she used up the battery. And so she goes to jump off the bridge, and Q is like, no. And so he grabs her and saves her, but she drops the battery and Julian can't catch it fast enough. Also, Alice is there because Alice is trying to stay alive. And she's trying to get magic to defend herself. And Alice has created this, I don't know what she did to the cat, but she got a cat. And for the entire episode, we don't know why she has this cat until literally like the last 10 minutes of the episode. The cat explodes, and we realize it was some type of warning signal because before it exploded, it started to scream. And Alice was like, "Oh shit, it's time to go." And then once it finally explodes, she's like, "I'm out." She leaves the little cat carrier and she runs away. And everybody's just there standing there looking around like, I have no clue what happened. Like, you know, she didn't tell us anything. And so then that's basically where the episode ends. She runs out and we don't see where she goes, but we see a guy chase her. And because earlier in the episode, we saw the little shadow figure possess a guy. And so that's the guy that triggered the alarms. And then while Quentin is like, he's out looking for Alice, he's like, you know, fuck this bitch, you know, if she wanted help, she would ask. And so he's reading the book, and he discovers that the second chapter of the book is written because Eliot got the key. And so now the second chapter is available. But as soon as he realizes that, the guy who was possessed comes out and finds him, and that's when he jumps bodies into Q. And so now Q is possessed, they don't have any batteries, but Eliot got the key and his kids, so wait. Okay, so overall, there wasn't a lot of plot advancing stuff or like major mind-blowing things that happened out of nowhere this episode. It was really just like seeing our characters that for the first 2 seasons we like fell in love with, just trying to figure like simple tasks out that are becoming gigantic tasks. And so in this episode there wasn't a lot of like random stuff that you didn't see coming. There wasn't a lot of surprises. It was like Eliot went to get the keys, Quentin tried to get the battery, and Alice is trying to stay alive and with Kitty and Penny, and it's like you could kind of see like how everything was going to go, but it was still really nice to watch. And watching Fen, who, if they keep on the trajectory they are, is going to become one of my new favorites of the crew, because it was really nice seeing her interact with her daughter Fray and trying to convince Eliot like, yo, this is our kid, this is our responsibility. Like, not even responsibility, like the kid's grown, she doesn't need like raising. Yeah. And it's nice seeing like her like be this mothering role to somebody who's only like 10 years younger than them, if that. And so that's really cool to see, and I'm excited to see their dynamic. You know, I did cheat a little bit, and I saw that the girl who plays Fray only has 5 episodes so far, so maybe that's just, you know, pre-recorded stuff, and she'll be in there more than 5 episodes, but that was pretty cool to see. And, you know, Quentin and Julia, it's great seeing them be friends again, and the tomato guy is proving to be useful for more than just tomatoes. And, you know, Katie and Penny's love, it's really endearing, you know. He'd rather spend his last breaths trying to be with her rather than live forever in the library. So it's cute. I will give them that. And Alice, you know, I feel like the next step is her forgiving Q. Like, I don't feel like there's any way she can save herself without absolutely, like, trusting Q to come and, you know, like, have her back. But he's possessed right now, so, you know, That's how we do it. That's how we get them unpossessed. Because Alice will be like, look at me, Q. You know who you are. And then Q will be like, oh, I do. You're my Alice. I love you. And then he'll just magically be unpossessed. Problem solved. And then they'll have Katie for her bad battle magic. And she'll be able to kill whatever beast is after Alice. There's that whole storyline. Nicely wrapped up. So, you know, I'm looking forward to next week's episode as always. Like, I want to see what chapter 2 means, like, you know, like what quest our monarchs are gonna go on, you know, how Julia and Q and the tomato guy are gonna fix everything. I'm just really excited for this series, and I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad you're going on this journey with me, and we can watch these episodes together, and it's just so much fun. So until next week, bye. Oh, not bye yet. Go ahead and just like my video. You don't even have to leave a comment, just press the like button and that would be enough. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.